What's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
Oh God.
Yeah. It doesn't have to have paid off either. Like you could have honestly bet $1 million and you were homeless or something. I don't know.
When I was depressed in 2018, I didn't have a ton of money. I had just enough money to go out west to San Diego, and I got to watch Tottenham play, and I got to see my favorite artist in concert because they were both in San Diego on concurrent nights, and so I went and did that on my own, alone, my first time ever traveling alone, and I came back broke, but it was the most fun I've ever had, and it helped me grow a lot. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. Oh my God, my voice. Trying to say that's pretty cool.
I heard you.
I heard you too.
I didn't mean to say it that
Matt,
softly.
we like you. We would have let it slid. We wouldn't have said anything.
No, I thought the vibe.
Now, if you're other people,
I'm trying to think. I'm a pretty risk-averse person usually. I'm trying to think.
We had a lot of that on the show.
Wow. That hurts.
God, I'm trying to think.
It doesn't hurt here. It hurts here. For the audio people, I pointed at my head, and then I pointed at my heart.
I can't think of specific times, but there are times like, it's like I'm a snowboarder, where like I hit kind of a wall with like improving a skills, and then like one year I was like, I'm just going for it, and I just tried bombing a hill, I think, and I was like, oh wait, that actually worked, and then. I think it's all just stuff like that. I'm trying to think. Maybe the like hastily planned second Charlotte trip that I did, that was a pretty big risk.
That was cool.
So that's about all I can think of, really.
Joe, where are you going with this?
I was just, it was a gambling weekend. They were in Las Vegas. Figured get you guys' biggest risks. I know you guys aren't big money gamblers or anything, so.
No.
What is that?
It's the Hard Rock app.
Oh, Davey's a gambler now.
Oh my God.
Didn't realize Davey was a gambler. I did not know your game, sir.
I dabbled a little bit.
I dabbled. Oh man.
It was all really easy, all really small. I put $15 in.
That's
bet like $2-3.
Listen,
$1 to $3 on a few different things.
Two
of them hit, and I got $20 sitting there right now. So I won $5.
That's the way to do it, folks. Small bets. Small bets are better, especially when you have anxiety over taking risks.
Yeah.
So small bets, and don't bet more than you can afford to lose. Right? I think that's what I've always heard. But
yeah. But I had a couple good ones hit. I had some that were unfortunate.
So you're going to do the gambling podcast with Weaver then? Is that the...
Weaver's never going to do it, so it's going to be me, you and I, Joe.
Oh, okay. Wait, why is he never going to do it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Why is he going to do it? Do you have any evidence?
He wanted to. I don't know. No? He wanted to. I thought...
Well,
I wanted
to be a cup driver when I grew up.
I am in the business of making your guys' dreams a reality. Right? Like that's the business I'm in.
No, you're not.
Man.
Do you know what my dream is?
For me to go to Charlotte?
Yeah, to meet you.
Oh gosh.
Joe.
Davey's gonna be like a Make-A-Wish kid, and that's gonna be his wish, is to meet me.
It's like, I want to meet Joe Towansky.
Joe, what are you doing in July?
I don't know. What's going on in July?
What are you doing for the Indianapolis NASCAR weekend?
I mean, I could go, probably, if that's what you're getting at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's floating out there.
Folks, this is Fake Racers Podcast. That's Davey. Down below is Matt. I'm Joe. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like if you're watching. If you're listening, you can still drop a like on your podcast platform. Leave us a review, too. We've also, Davey's been doing a good job with the poll questions that they kind of give us. I've seen a couple of responses on there, so answer those questions here or there. And yeah, because we like to get your feedback. And then as we get more feedback, we can kind of incorporate it into the show. So ask for your feedback. Want to make it more interactive. That's one of our goals for this year. So we'd appreciate it if you That microphone got right in front of my face. We'd appreciate it if you interacted with us and disagree with us. Come disagree with us, right, Davey? That's our tagline. Is that our slogan?
Always
So-
happening, baby.
We could always do like a questions segment at the end of the show.
Yeah. So Tristan, I know you're watching or listening. Ask us a question. We'll answer it next week. And then for anyone else. But Tristan's obviously the most devout Fake Racers podcast fan out there. So
Shout out Tristan.
Shout out Tristan.
Thank you for commenting. I really
we
do
appreciate Tristan.
Genuinely.
Just like Kyle Larson appreciates Cliff Daniels, and Cliff Daniels probably appreciates Kyle Larson because, once again, they dominate a 1.5-mile race. Larson's second win in a row at Vegas, his third win at the track since joining Hendrick Motorsports. Hendrick's fourth spring race win in a row. There's a lot of really good stats here if you're an HMS Chevrolet. But yeah, Kyle Larson wins and gets one off the rip as he has the last couple of years. Thoughts?
So my first note was it was Kyle Larson domination, but it was kind of like HMS, like a little bit of disappointment there with the 9 and the 48. I'd imagine 24 car obviously had the trash bag thing. That was unfortunate. That killed a couple of my bets actually. But the 9 and the 48 had pretty. I mean the 48, they were pretty good at digging themselves out of the hole they would put them in like every round of pit stops, where like they would go from 20th back up to 12th, but they didn't really get much further than that. And I mean Chase Elliott was almost completely anonymous all day.
I don't think I saw Chase Elliott a single time. Like I was thinking about that like while I was watching the race, and I was like, I have not seen the 9 car. I don't know where he is.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's a little weird, bit of a mixed bag there at HMS so far.
Statistically, that was Elliott's worst intermediate track, right? Bowman, I think, was more surprising that he didn't run better.
Yes.
Because that has been one of his better tracks. He, of course, won here in 2022 in the next-gen car, and the Chevrolet hasn't changed. But, I kind of echo what you guys... On the opposite side of the spectrum, maybe to a degree, but not very far. SHR seemed to have better speed this week, and Noah Gragson, of course, finished 6th, kind of against all odds, because I think he qualified in the 30s.
I'm looking right now. Yeah, 30th place.
Yep.
Obviously, they're coming off of a big penalty. We didn't talk too much about it last week, but they were in the negatives. Him and Ryan Preece, who was the one SHR car it felt like we never saw in that race. Like, I don't remember them ever showing Ryan Preece. He also went to a backup after a spin in practice. But Chase Briscoe was up inside the top 10, qualified 6th. He fell off late, which happens with him from time to time. It seemed like they might have made a bad adjustment there on the last stop. And Josh Berry was solidly inside the top 20 most of the race. So takeaway there from SHR, who's kind of been the one team I think they've been ridiculed the most here in the offseason for sure.
Yeah, qualifying was a disaster.
Yep.
It was like, I think it was Briscoe qualified like 6th, and then the other 3 were all like 26th or worse. I did not see that coming from Gragson like this early on in the season.
Especially him. I would have thought one of the SHR, like the drivers that have been at SHR, would have put down a performance like that. But that was strong from Noah.
Oh yeah,
it was totally.
Yeah, and I think last year made a lot of people forget that it's like Noah Gragson's still a very, very talented race car driver.
Yeah.
Sometimes
they just don't click with the organization or the environment they're in.
Yeah.
So.
Not that Legacy Motor Club was a very conducive, good performance environment last year until they finally kind of were only using their own stuff. But yeah, I mean, SHR, I think it's probably too early to make a overarching statement about what this team's going to be this year, but it's definitely a good sign.
Light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be a multitude of things, right? It could be that they got their sim figured out. It could be that the Ford's a little bit better. It could just be that, maybe they're not trimming their cars out as much as the Penske's in the front rows cars have been here to start the year, right? Because Joey Logano's been on the front row of every race, 2 poles. Daytona glove probably be damned, but and Atlanta, but still a lot of speed out of the other side of the Ford camp cars. So with that being said, those are kind of the 2 big teams. Talk about the disappointment with Hendrick and kind of the not elation, but at least positive attitude coming out of Vegas for SHR. what were your guys' biggest takeaways after this first race, mile and a half, first true race that we've had this year, whatever, right? Like, there's a lot of that going around after this week, but
I was like, what? Well, in the Cup Series at least, like, what's going on pit road? Why are there so many pit road penalties? Why were there so many pit road mistakes across the entire Cup field? Everybody made a mistake on pit road. There speeding penalties. Kyle Busch got hit with one. Various teams. I mean, Bubba's issue wasn't really a pit crew issue, but like just in general, like the incident occurred on pit road.
Shout out to Fox not mentioning that at all. Sorry, he took like he had to take 3 tires on that one stop because of it, and then like they had to it was a mess. But yeah, I just feel like I was trying to look up pit stop stats today, which by the way, a much harder thing to do than you think. See if there's been a difference in pit stop like times, at least like from the last 3 races last year to the first 3 this year. I couldn't find anything, but I don't know. It feels like everyone's I feel like NASCAR should make that data available with how much they're highlighting the pit crews now too.
Yeah, I agree. Because you can find like all the loop data and all that stuff everywhere, but there's no solid, like, usable pit crew data anywhere.
And you know that data's out there too.
Oh yeah, they have. Someone has that.
Yeah, Kyle Busch was running top 5. He had a pit issue also. Lost like 2 laps because of that right at the end of the race.
Yeah, I just felt like I heard a ton.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs I think had a pit issue at one point.
Tyler Reddick.
There was a point where
Tyler Reddick.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Reddick's. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And he was pissed post race about whatever happened.
Yeah, Toyota had a very brief disaster class right in the middle of stage 3. Like, you had Bell spin, you had Ty Gibbs pit issues, you had Bubba's all of his problems that he had, you had Reddick's pit issues. I'm pretty sure Truex had a problem at one point. It was a disaster for a second.
But as far as anything else to take away, I mean, it's the first downforce race of the season, so it's going to be hard to take away too many things. The one thing that I do want to note, Ross Chastain, in that actually no, not necessarily Ross Chastain. That whole one team, they're here to win this year. I mean, that was a gutsy call to take 2 and still get in the top 5.
I could not believe he stayed up there. I thought for sure he was plummeting through the field, and he like fought his ass off to hold up Reddick and Blaney.
These cars, they're so close right now, right? Like understatement to say it even like that. So clean air means a lot still, and it will always mean a lot because of the amount of engineering that goes into things. But kudos to the one, like you said, the one team for taking a risk and gambling and rolling the dice.
Shut up. Oh my god. You sound like Tommy.
Also, thank you to the one team because of that $5 bet I placed on Ross to win the championship. You know, speaking of gambling.
Ross Chastain is the only reason I got money from my bets.
Who'd he beat?
What'd
you have him?
I had
in a group?
Ross Chastain in a group, and I forget who was in the group, and I couldn't find the group.
I think it was Brad was in the group.
It was a no-brainer group, whatever it was.
I think you had Kyle too, or Kyle Busch. Yeah, I think I remember you posting about that.
Probably Byron.
Something like that. It was a no-brainer.
Or maybe it was Logano in there.
It was like people that you didn't think were going to be very fast at Vegas.
Yeah.
And then Ross Chastain, who has been probably one of the best drivers at Vegas based on statistics alone since the next gen. And then top 5. So he got me all my money.
Hey, that's I mean that's the key.
We got to talk about 2. Obviously, the duel at the finish was pretty awesome with Reddick.
What a
absolutely
brain
bearing
fart
down on Larson.
I feel like Reddick just like
shouldn't have gone to the bottom in 3
no,
and 4.
And it wasn't even that. It's like make him go run your line.
Yep.
Don't try to catch him off guard. I'm so sick of that, man. It's like
that was the biggest thing because he ran down Larson by forcing him to go up to the outside, and then tried to bait him up to the outside, and Larson read him like a book. Yeah.
But it was faster.
It was also funny too. Both stages and the finish of the race all ended in the same way with Tyler Reddick running down Kyle Larson and just running out of time.
Yep.
It was awesome.
Yeah. But I agree with you, Joe. I honestly think that this is one, not necessarily that Kyle Larson defended well and won. This is one that Tyler Reddick gave away.
And I think you can see that again in his post-race interview. I saw a lot getting made of his whole, it's different years, same shit, or whatever he said. Yeah, he said that, because I was like, oh, can you say that on TV? Dale Jr. would like a word. But, it's doing the work jargon right now.
Well, a big thing, too, like, this is not a slight at Tyler Reddick, but, like, he hasn't won a ton of races, and, learning these things wheel to wheel, you have to be in those positions to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this is just going to make Tyler Reddick better the next time he's in that spot.
Yep.
So, and you're going against, the most dominant driver of the last, 4 years?
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
The guy that everyone unequivocally says is the best race car driver on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah, take that, Max
Verstappen. Some feathers. That's the title, by the way. Best race car driver on the planet. That'll get people talking.
Yeah. That'll get people talking. And we're not even talking about the F1 crap because, yikes. John Hunter Nemechek won the Xfinity race. Chandler Smith won both stages, so good for Chandler.
Chandler Smith has been like a stage away from winning the Vegas races in Xfinity, like 2 years in a row now. Insane that he is so good at it. He's going to win one in Vegas before long, but it's crazy that he has not won yet. Because he was dominating last year too. Same deal. Was winning stages, was up front, lost the race.
Yeah. I unfortunately didn't get to see much of this race, so I'm going to need you guys to carry the water on this one.
I mean, this is the first non-Chevrolet and only non-Chevrolet win in the National Touring Series races this year. Yep.
That is wild.
It's just funny stats. John Hunter, oh man, a Cup Series driver won an Xfinity race. Are we burning the house down? No, we're not, because it's not Kyle Busch, but okay, whatever. That's what it is, man. That's what it is.
I know.
We talked about it after the truck race. Maybe we need Cup drivers in the lower series maybe there was a reason they were down there in the first place, but, whatever.
Listen, I'm still down for that short video essay.
No one wants to have that argument with me. Friday night was awesome because Rajah Caruth won his first career Truck Series race. Obviously, multitude of reasons for why that's cool. Mm-hmm. I think paramount of those, though, is the fact that he has support from one of the dynastic teams in the sport with HendrickCars.com and Hendrick Motorsports. Mm-hmm. He's a young driver that can help bridge a lot of gaps in a fan base that has a lot of them. And, I don't know. Seems cool. Seems like a cool kid. Can I say that?
Oh, yeah.
He's like 2 years younger than me. I guess I can say that.
He's a cool kid. He's the, where people say William Byron learned how to race on a computer.
He actually
Rajah
did.
is the one who actually did that. He is the actual embodiment of learning how to race on iRacing and then taking it to the real world.
Big shout out to somebody who posted a screenshot of Rajah winning an NR online race against them 10 years ago, and it had Garrett Sidnor, friend of the show, in that race as well. So, Front Row Motorsports employee Garrett Sidnor.
Oh my god,
so cool!
That is awesome.
But yeah, no, it's just I don't know, it's cool, and I remember I was listening to his press conference on the radio, going somewhere Saturday morning, just to hear his answers and stuff, and you can tell he has appreciation for the sport and the gravity of the moment and for the win, but also he's not getting in his head about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's good to see. And he's going to have a lot of opportunities to win races this year.
Yeah, and everyone I hear talk about him, they always only have the best things to say about him. I have not heard anyone in the sport, from even names as large as Dale Jr. and all these, they all advocate for him. And that's really cool.
Dude's an absolute wheelman, and just generally just a cool dude.
So we will keep
rooting for him.
That's awesome.
Our eyes on the 71 Spire Motorsports truck. All right, Matt, you got the soundboard queued up? Because we are going from the shop. All right,
it's a good sound.
And that is a good sound to be the tone setter for this first topic. IndyCar is pushing for a charter agreement before this year's Indianapolis 500. I beat the drum for this is the biggest race in the world and the most important race in the world, so I'm not even going to go any further.
Here's the deal. A charter agreement in IndyCar, in the long term for the sport, is not a bad idea. IndyCar isn't, in my opinion, isn't big enough to support this right now. There's no point. Where's the value? There isn't any. IndyCar's too small.
Yeah.
It's a small series. Let's be blunt about it. It's a small series. The charter system works for NASCAR because it is huge and has appeal and there's value and people want that. People are just going to want to charter an IndyCar so they can make the 500. And they're going to put out absolutely nothing. I mean, it's going to be, like I said, it's not big enough. They're going to put out, like, the way we had start and park cars and stuff like that. Like, it's going to be that times 1 million when a team that just wants to run the Indy 500 every year, which we get those, is just going to do that for the rest of the season when they're forced to show up. And on top of that, you know, just to throw in the biggest take, this is obviously all that other stuff I think is like important on the business side, but like the important aspect of all this, the biggest one, the Indy 500, listen, I think it's disrespectful to guarantee cars into the Indy 500. Too many drivers have given their life to qualify for that race, and guaranteeing someone the Indy 500 is different. The Indy 500 is special. We need to treat it as such. It deserves that. Guaranteeing 25 cars or however many cars that this charter system is going to entail. I know 25.8 is a thing because of 25.8 in the past, but it kills it. It kills it, in my opinion. It's no longer special. It's a disrespect to the countless drivers, and don't tell me that other drivers have died in racing. There has not been an event more dangerous and a track more dangerous than Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it is storied. It's historic. You do not need to be guaranteeing people into this race that people have given everything to try and get into. Keep that. That is what keeps that event special. It needs to say the same. And boomer take, traditional take, whatever. If you disagree with that, I frankly don't even want to hear from you. Don't come disagree with us about that because you're wrong, and I'm not even going to entertain it.
Well, yeah, that's one of the biggest things about the Indy 500 too, is the whole month leading up to it, and how they've managed to do the seemingly impossible thing that everybody else tries to do, which is they've turned qualifying into a show, but they've still kept it legitimate, right? Like, part of the appeal of the entire month of May is, like, if Penske screws up, they could miss the 500, you know?
2 years ago.
Nobody's safe. Yeah. Like, that's, like, the whole point. So, and like you said, yeah, it doesn't make sense right now because being an IndyCar isn't a, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's not a good business opportunity, right? It's not something that people are trying to get in on because unlike F1 or NASCAR, like, you're not making money, like, just off of being a team, you know?
Mm.
You're not making that money off of TV revenue and merch and prestige. And that's something that IndyCar needs to work on first. So,
yeah, like the model...
Which also, I mean, this is also coming from the teams, so obviously they're going to fight for their own financial
It's about
security,
equity, right?
Yeah.
What auto racing in general lacks from the team side is they don't have equity, and you've seen the disruption of that in NASCAR, especially with the newer teams like 2311 and Trackhouse to a lesser extent. But there's a disruption in the traditional way of thinking that I'm going to spend $1 million and I'm going to make back $900,000. You have investor groups like that of 2311 that are like, hey, this is how it works in other sports. Why doesn't it work like that here? Gather the facts, and then invest and figure out how they can make it work that way. You don't necessarily have that group in IndyCar. Probably the closest thing would be the Arrow McLaren team, right? Since obviously there's the connection there with McLaren, and it's just it's odd that it would come because, as Davey said, you don't have the money and you don't have the support system to actually probably make those those charters. Like we talk about NASCAR Cup charters being $20 million investments. What do you think an IndyCar charter is really worth? A couple $100,000.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, because it's all about guaranteed revenue, and that revenue isn't there isn't a lot of guaranteed revenue in IndyCar. You know, they don't have a great TV deal.
They're trying to stick like big business moves and money on teams that, for all intents and purposes, are still like running their teams on like a small business model. Like
yeah,
Dale Coyne still hasn't even signed a driver.
Yeah, and they're racing this weekend. They are racing at St. Petersburg Sunday. Don't forget, if you haven't seen any advertising for IndyCar racing, because I at least have the IndyCar app on my phone, it's like, hey, we're less than a week from race day. But you probably haven't seen any ads on TV.
I have not.
So,
nope, same.
Thanks, NBC.
It's so ridiculous, dude.
So, let's change gears, because if you're mad, this will make you happy. I already know this will make you happy, Matt, because Bubba Pollard's making his Xfinity Series debut for Junior Motorsports. That's pretty cool at Richmond, cool. Right? Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Great short track driver, so.
I just love when Dale does that for short track community. Mm-hmm. I think it's a cool thing he does. I love how ingrained he is in it. It's cool. He makes good things happen.
Cars Tour and all too, right? Like, sounds like they're trying to get Bubba, to come and run some more Cars Tour races and stuff this year, so this could be part of that too. I scratch your back, you scratch mine type of thing, but
exactly.
It'll be interesting to see how he does. It sounded like he's also going to run the ARCA race at Five Flags the week before, just to kind of get acquainted with the stock car compared to the late models. So, Davey, this is something that'll interest you, and I know it has because you've already been the gears. I can see them grinding away. Rain is coming to iRacing Season 2. This is a Fake Racers podcast, after all.
I'm so excited. It's funny. In a weird way, like, the more I see about it, the less excited I am for it, if that makes sense.
Mm-mm.
Here's why. Not because it's bad or because it looks bad. It's because it looks too good.
Yeah.
Like it looks normal. I've driven in the rain. It's like, oh, it's gonna be exactly how it is to drive in the rain. Okay. like all the things.
Like it isn't a game.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because other sims that have rain, like, they take the rain and they add it, and then they add the textures and they put it on the track, and it's like, okay, well, for this much rain, there's X amount of grip that gets taken off, and then
it's not
it
dynamic.
Multiplies per this much for this, and then when the car runs over this part on the track, it'll dry up, and then the grip comes back at XY percentage or whatever it is, right? With iRacing, it's all one, like, system. It's all one organism, so to speak, right? So, like, when the track is rubbered in, this is something that a lot of games have gotten wrong. Like, most games that have rain have gotten wrong. When the track rubbers in and then it gets wet, you run offline because the rubber is compacted into the asphalt. It becomes slick when it's wet. iRacing has actually modeled this, so the racing line in the dry is slick in the wet because of the compacted rubber that is in the track from the iRacing track system. So you have to run offline. If you're ever at a racetrack, if you're ever at a go-kart track or anything like that, if you're ever at any kind of racetrack where you can do a track walk and it is raining, take your shoe when it's wet and go into the driving line and scuff your shoe on the ground and feel how easy it slides. Now go up out of the racing line in the wet, scuff your shoe again, and notice how much it catches on the asphalt. They modeled that correctly. And then obviously there's all of the, because of their tracks being laser scanned, there's accurate puddles and places that puddles accumulate and stuff for places that, like, Daytona Sebring and stuff like that. Excuse me. This just looks really cool. I can't wait. It's gonna be really awesome. But, like, there's a small part of me that's like, oh, it's just gonna, it's like real life. I'm not gonna be able to see anything, and I'm gonna hit a puddle that I can't see. So it's gonna be great. But I'm excited. I can't wait to try it. I'm gonna try and do it as soon as the update comes out, so I can get a video out quick before
that update comes out as we're recording this tomorrow.
Morning.
Correct? Tomorrow morning.
Yes. Yeah, the servers go down at 8. Don't know how long they'll be down, but it's a big update, so they'll
I would
probably
assume
be back
for a
in like
while.
4 hours. So probably around noon, and I work from home, so I might be able to slip away for a quick little race or something.
He works from home
Yeah,
for
I saw
himself.
a few. I saw some
Kind
clips
of, I know.
earlier from some of the streamers who got like beta
Yep.
access to it, and it does look cool as hell.
It looks
I was like,
really
alright.
good. Like, it looks really well done.
Yeah,
No,
nice.
it's exciting, right? Like, I think it's something
It's
new.
the most anticipated sim racing
Update.
update I think ever. Probably more anticipated than a lot of sim racing games.
I mean,
yeah.
since the dirt update, at least, right? Like, because
Easily.
adding dirt was a big thing.
It's a
I
big
remember
deal.
that when they added that to iRacing. That was a huge deal, right?
Yep.
Because it just,
I think this is bigger than that too.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Rain affects all sorts of racing disciplines. Dirt is dirt.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
All right. So, iRacing tie-in. Here's your clunky transition of the week. Dale Jr. is a big guy in iRacing.
I was wondering why we didn't go to this straight after the Bubba Pollard driving for JRM.
I could have done it right after we talked about NBC not advertising IndyCar either, because they're also
Just do the
they're
news
just
backwards.
they're just
next time,
cutting
yeah.
they're just cutting budgets apparently at NBC, because Dale Jr. will not be back in the NBC Sports booth this year. He's said a couple things on his podcast last week about wanting to make sure he's at the track and just kind of that type of stuff, which was weird because I don't know if NBC planned on not letting their broadcasters go to the racetrack. I don't know how much that really saves them on travel in the grand scheme of things. Probably not a lot. Fox. But it's interesting, right? Because Dale Jr. has been such an important voice since he's gone up into the booth. And obviously there's new media partners coming in next year that NASCAR will have a little bit more of a say on the presentation on those two partners from the sounds of it with their new production center that they've built in Concord. But I just want to get your guys' thoughts on that because Dale Jr. has been such a crucial part. Not that the NBC booth will struggle because they were good without him beforehand, but it'll definitely be a different dynamic this year.
Yeah, it's a miss for NBC. That is, it's definitely a miss for them. I think they'll be fine. I do think the quality of their broadcast overall can sustain losing Dale Earnhardt Jr. They're gonna have to get someone good to replace him, and obviously, who is there to replace him? There's not many people like that. I think
Boyer.
Stop. I do hope that because the stuff about NBC going to a remote broadcast has been mostly speculation. I hope that it's only speculation. That'd be really disappointing. So, if it's just having to replace Dale Jr., I think they'll be okay. But if they're going to go to remote broadcasts and then it's, all this other, I do think the broadcast, it's going to suffer greatly because, it'll probably become the worst broadcast partner for NASCAR because Fox has actually been on their game, something I haven't been able to bring up in the past podcasts. Fox has been on their game this year.
Thank you, Kevin Harvick.
Thank you, Kevin Harvick. That's right. Seriously, I think he's been fantastic. And he's kept Clint Boyer in line, and Mike Joy has new life.
Shout out to... So,
yeah.
I was watching the race with my roommate this weekend, and we were talking about Clint Boyer, how he starts off so energetic, and he's so ready, and then by the end of the race, he just sounds so tired. He can go for,
ADHD, kids.
He can go for, 2.5 hours, but after that, it's he's just so tired. Anyways, sorry.
That's the thing I've definitely noticed is, I think Boyer could be good, better in the booth, because I don't think he's that bad.
No.
But he just doesn't have very good chemistry with Mike Joy. They don't play off each other very well. It always seems like they're trying to pull the broadcast in different directions.
And that's why you have Kevin Harvick as the coupler now. Because Kevin Harvick's done a really good job of bridging those two.
Yeah.
The other thing to remember, too, with Clint Boyer's been in the booth with Mike Joy and always somebody random. since he's been up there, right?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
I forget. Was he
basically.
with Jeff Gordon for a year or no?
Yeah, he was with Gordon for a year.
Okay. Not saying much because we all know how that went, but yeah, like you said, Fox has done really good. NBC losing Dale Jr. I don't think is a big deal. I don't even think they need someone to replace him. I think they can go with their 3 that they have because you have a really good. Jeff Burton is an amazing driver voice. I think he kind of got lost in the shuffle with Dale there. Not to say that it was unwarranted or anything, because Dale again does such a great job and is such a fan and a historian of the sport. But Jeff Burton always has really good insights, and it'll be interesting to see if he's able to shine more without Dale Jr. in the booth. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
It's more time for everybody when you're down one person. Is really what it comes down to. It'll be interesting to see too. Steve Letarte, I think, is the new Larry McReynolds. You know, like he does such a fantastic job of putting things not only into layman's terms, but also when it warrants it, describing things a little bit better and a little more in depth.
Yeah. People give Steve Letarte a lot of crap, and on one hand I almost get it because oh, it's Steve Letarte, he's just talking blah blah blah, talking about nonsense again. But no, man, you described it very well. He's very good at simplifying the technical stuff.
He knows
so
when to
Literally
do
his
it.
job.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, he's so good at that.
It's literally what they pay him to
Yeah,
big bucks.
Yeah.
it's crazy. And also, he has the best podcast on Dirty Mo Media. So
Definitely.
Also, I don't know. I don't know if we if we want to touch on this, but that bullshit r/NASCAR post that was conspiracy theory.
I saw that.
Oh,
Did
it's
you see
because
Ricky's
NBC
tweet?
doesn't like that he looks out the window. Yeah, Ricky.
was-
And then Junior just flat out responded. He's like, "This is ridiculous." He's like, "What are you?" even
Dale
talking
Jr.
about?"
has only said good
stupid.
things about the producer at Artie Kemp.
Yeah.
Kemp?
Okay, do you want to know why Junior's leaving NBC? Because Amazon, owned by the richest man in the world, probably came up to him with a blank check and said, "How much?"
Yeah.
And Warner.
That's
so
why he's leaving.
I think Amazon and the Warner guys, they're going to share their commentators. Kind of like how TNT
Yeah,
and NBC
more
did,
than likely.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to
Yeah.
share a lot of resources between those two. Because they're both going to be also completely available on their streaming apps. Well, obviously Amazon, but the Warner will also be available on Discovery Plus or HBO or whatever their streaming, HBO Max or Max. Maybe it's just Max. I don't know. That one's weird. But yeah, all right. Bottom split moments of the week. What you got? What you got? Oh, man, I wasn't ready for that. My bottom split moment of the week has to go out to the lug nut on the 23 car because that was awful.
Why would it be bottom split? Did such a good job.
It did not
yeah,
do a good job. That's not what a lug nut's
that wheel
supposed to
could
do.
not be on there tighter.
I mean, if you want to go around that route, you could say bottom split moment has to be to Chris Buescher. Because his wheel just completely failed. Like, they said they didn't get it
That
tight.
one technically didn't come off.
that-
either.
Lug nut was
The
No,
lug
it
nut
did
was
come
tight.
off. Yeah, it
Oh,
did.
did it?
It was loose. It was loose. It's just the way that
3 points
wheel
of failure.
failed was hilarious. Hopefully Chris is okay, but
I
that
have-
was pretty funny the way the wheel failed there.
I have watched that video so many times and I still don't understand how it happened. I'm so confused.
How the tire stayed in the wheel well.
the rim of the wheel left, but
the tire.
but the tire was
Yeah.
still on the car. It makes no sense.
Couldn't tell you.
I
My
love
brain is
stuff
still
like that when that happens.
flabbergasted. So, yeah, Davey, what's your bottom split moment of the week?
Damn it.
It's
Mine's
popcorn.
gotta be-
Popcorn.
Nah, mine's definitely. I had a really solid fantasy lineup picked out. I had some hot drivers. I mean, it was all looking real good at the start of the race, and then William Byron gets trash bagged. Christopher
Silver bullet.
Bell explodes, and then Kyle Busch decides that he wants to get another speeding ticket, and it was just a mess.
It wasn't even that. He pitted out of his box.
Well, whatever. Penalty, speeding ticket, same thing. He did put out of his box. That's right, because I saw the fucking replay of him pitting out of his box, and it was like this much of his splitter.
Yeah.
I wanted to choke his ugly face. I was so mad.
Yell at his crew, man.
Oh my god.
Could have told him to back up.
Bastard. That's my bottom split moment. I had a good week, so.
My bottom split. There was a couple candidates from Daytona Supercross. Eli Tomac, 2-time champion, got taken to school by a rookie, Jet Lawrence, because he was too scared to hit a quad that everybody else was, and literally lost the race because of that. And then was like, yeah, I don't know why I did that. But no, the worst one was the fans, because
I saw this.
Jet Lawrence literally got mugged post-race.
What? What?
So
I saw this.
He got mugged?
It's being a little... you'll see. Not like... Nobody, like, robbed him, but I'll explain in a second. So the way they do Daytona Supercross is, obviously they race in the grass, and then they have barriers set up so fans can stand on the track and watch. And it's like a tradition where whoever wins will go up on the apron and do a burnout, like, right in front of the fans. And Jet was doing it up against the fence, and these two fans reached over and literally ripped the goggles off of his helmet while he was wearing them. Like, literally stole his goggles from him. And then, because Florida has the nuttiest people ever, they knocked over one of the barriers and stormed the track while people were still finishing. Aaron Plessinger couldn't finish the race because he got surrounded by a crowd of people on the last tabletop, and Jason Anderson almost landed on somebody because a bunch of drunk Floridians ran out onto a live racetrack. And they just didn't show it on TV also.
Has anyone checked in on Weaver to make sure he wasn't there?
Yeah, he might have been there. And then they all stormed the track, and then while the podium, or the three guys were doing their podium interviews, somebody just kept blowing a train horn over and over again, so you couldn't hear anything. It was a mess. It was so ridiculous.
Like, Daytona, Florida thing. Like,
Davey,
so
speak
Daytona.
for your people.
No, Daytona is not my people.
The footage of Jet getting his goggles stolen is so funny, because he's just, like, I mean, they throw their goggles into the crowd all the time, and these two guys were like, no, I'm taking it, and they just, like, grab the strap and they're trying to rip it off of his helmet, and Jet's sitting there full throttle, and I'm like, guys, if you knock him over, that's a 450 that's just gonna whiskey throttle into you. Like, what are you doing? It was insane. It was absolutely insane.
I love it. I love it so much.
So dumb.
All right. Well, let's take it to your road to pro moment of the week, Davey. You start.
My road to pro moment, and actually this is going to be my road to pro moment for every single Fake Racers podcast until it's broken, is Martin Truex Jr.'s not having a top 5 streak is continued once again. He has not had a top 5 since August 7th in Michigan last year.
I technically was there.
So
that is insane.
I am just going to make that my road to pro moment every single week until he gets top 5 because I love it.
I do like that we have taken a firm anti-Martin Truex stance.
I don't even know if it's
funny.
anti-Martin Truex, if it's more just like...
It's just, I'm anti-Martin Truex,
yeah.
and Matt's just like, dude, that rocks.
Yeah, dude, that's cool, man. I'm glad somebody has a strong opinion about something on here.
Yeah. Also, I just realized he is only a couple positions away from starting the last 3 years with identical finishes in all 3 races.
Yeah.
That's insane.
2022, he went 13-13-8. Last year, he went 15-11-7. This year, he's gone 15-12-7. That's dumb.
Huh.
Yeah. The more you know.
Matthew,
Good,
road to pro moment. I
I
was talking first.
My road to pro moment was gonna be Spire, but then I realized that they didn't actually really finish that well, and I don't remember
Carson
what happened
Hocevar
to
finished
Zane.
15th, and Corey
Yeah,
LaJoy was mad at him for some reason.
Yeah, he's always mad about something.
Can we talk about that, actually, briefly? Like, what is Corey LaJoy mad about? Like, someone raced him, or...?
He said he was mad about how Carson raced him, but I'm sure it was something that we didn't see. But
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not really sure if he has any merit to it.
Yeah, I would bank on it's like, hey, we're teammates, you should probably chill, and Carson Hocevar is like, I'm a rookie and I'm going to go fast. So,
Go fast, turn left.
yeah, so that would be my bet. But yeah, Carson had a great run. Yeah. Corey ran great until he spun late in the race. So
Zane,
Spire's legit.
Zane
I
smacked the
missed what
wall on
happened to
lap
Zane.
3.
Oh,
Just
Didn't
broke a
didn't go
toe
far.
link, probably.
Oh man.
Yeah.
He was excited. He was excited. He was back home.
Yeah. House of Zane's gonna have to wait until next week.
My road to pro moment. I'm trying to do a better job of like, being like all yeah, I went I went shopping over the weekend. I went to Kohl's because Kohl's was having their 50% off clearance annual sale.
Yep.
And I found this really cool brown like suede jacket.
Suede.
Not suede. Is that not? It's like that it's like. See, this is why I should have grabbed it before I did this, but I didn't want to get up. I'll show you guys, but it's brown jacket, normally
Joe
$80. Yeah, actually, yeah, kind of. But it's this brown jacket, nice jacket, because I needed like a nice jacket to have, like a dressy jacket. And it said $80 on the tag, and I'm like, oh, there's no way this thing's $80. Took it up to the cash register. It was like, hey, can you scan this? Because, yeah, I want it, but I'm not paying $80 for it. $12. Made me so happy.
Oh wow.
The girl at the checkout was like, oh my gosh, that's $12. Do you want it? And I'm like, yeah. I almost said, fuck yeah, but, I was in a store and there were kids around, so probably that was the right call. Not to scream fuck yeah in the middle of a Kohl's on a Saturday afternoon, but...
They're going to call the cops on you, Joe.
They could, though.
What?
It's a very red town. But, yeah.
That was unreal.
On the nose. Yeah, it was my
You're quietly on one tonight.
road to
Just
pro
quiet.
moment. I was just trying to be more positive. I've been going to the gym.
Good.
Gone 3 times.
That's good.
Everything hurts. But that's okay.
Of course.
I
That's
feel
how
that.
it works.
Yep.
So, not going to ask you guys for picks, but I want to remind everyone at home that there is IndyCar this weekend, 12:30 NBC from St. Petersburg, season opener. They won't race for another month, and even at that, I believe the next race is that Thermal Club Challenge that doesn't count for anything. So if you watch it, cool, I guess.
Don't try to go. It'll cost you like $1 million or something.
Yeah, don't go.
That's not a
Boycott
joke.
it.
It's like a private club. You're not actually able to go.
Can we boycott the Thermal Club?
What? We're not gonna give you $1 million to stay at the club.
Boycott. The Xfinity and the Cup Series and the ARCA Series. In case you forgot about ARCA, because they haven't raced in a couple weeks, but they're back. They'll all be out at Phoenix this week. So, a lot of racing, a lot of good action this weekend. You should be able to watch most of IndyCar, if not the entirety of the race, before the Cup Series race starts. And, yeah, I don't know. That's what you got this weekend. Because I don't know, is there F1 this weekend? We're not touching the
That's a good question.
deplorable things.
Well,
Good question.
well
I don't know
we'll
if
wait
that's
till we
fun.
actually know what's going on before we say anything.
Shout out
That's
to
fair.
the F1 reporters that are like, hey, there's this thing that got sent out, and it's really bad, but I'm not going to tell you.
I mean, what kind of shit?
I
I'm
know.
not gonna
That's
say
real.
it because you guys would hate it so much. There is F1 this weekend, but
Jeddah?
Max is gonna win by 14 seconds.
Oh.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Okay.
But-
well,
Yeah, that's the Fake Racers podcast this week. We appreciate you guys listening for watching. Make sure, again, as I said at the start, leave a like on the video, comment what you think. If you have any opinions, strong ones at that, leave them down there below. We're going to try to incorporate a fan question segment of the show next week if we get some good questions. So that's on you, not on us, because we can't ask ourselves questions. But, yeah. Comment, like, subscribe, do all those things. Davey will be streaming Saturday, USORL Cup Series action, right? No? Yes?
we'll probably be. I mean, I'll be streaming all sorts of stuff this week with the rain content, but yes.
So keep your eyes out for that here on our on JTN and on this channel. And I don't know, Matt's got how did things go last week? Did you get your warm ups in? Did you?
Oh,
I forget.
yeah. So I raced for the
Apologize.
first time this
Okay.
year. It was fun. I had to race my brother.
How'd that go?
I raced it was fun. I was actually way more competitive than I thought I was gonna
Okay.
be. I raced like all experts, and out of 5 of us, finished third in my first moto, barely missed the main. I was right with my brother though the whole time, and then made it through my second moto, and then in my main event, I was telling my brother when we were waiting in the staging shoots, I was like, I like racing all the experts because it feels like I'm playing on house money. Because I'm like, hey, you guys are supposed to beat me, so like if I stink, and then it's totally fine. And then I got too excited, and I timed my gate way too well and slammed into the gate before it was fully done dropping, and so I was just like dead last by the first corner by a mile, and I was like, well, all right, I'm just gonna have fun now. So, I did actually. I want to plug something here. 2 of my good friends who I raced like the whole state circuit with this year or last year. The UCI BMX World Championships are hosted in South Carolina this year, and they've held qualifiers all over. And 2 of my friends both went down to SoCal and raced and made the field, and so they have GoFundMe's up to get them to go race World Championships in South Carolina. I'm gonna have Joe put the links below, but for Christian Brown and Michael Horner, we're gonna get you guys to South Carolina. So I'm gonna throw a little money at them too. So
That's sick.
We
That's
will
awesome.
post those links in the video description, and we will also pin them at the top of the comment section.
that'd be pretty sick.
So can't miss them. Gotta go to YouTube.
Yep.
Matt, if I send you these Fake Racers podcast stickers, do you think we can get them to put a Fake Racers podcast sticker on something?
I might. I'm going to a state race this weekend.
Okay.
Actually, no. I will see them before then. I will definitely see them before then.
Okay.
I'll see if I can.
It's okay if not, but that'd be pretty
I'll
sick.
sneak one on the back of like Chris's number plate.
There
or
you go.
something.
There you
There
go.
we go. That rocks.
With you in spirit. Well, folks, we appreciate you listening as always. Again, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all those fun things. Don't miss a second of the Fake Racers podcast. That's why you got to follow us. And we will see you guys next week. Right back here. Same time, same place, maybe. On the Fake Racers podcast.